program directors, the officials of the African National Congress, Deputy President Paul Mashatile and his wife, Humile Mashatile, the various officials, and I saw the national chairperson, Gwede Samson Mantashe. I know the SG is busy examining the stadium where we are going to hold our celebrations tomorrow. I'm sure the other officials are also busy with that, the two Deputy Secretary Generals and the Treasurer General, who's also just told us about this event and the work that is being done by the PBF, members of the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress, members of the Provincial Executive Committee, and thanking the chairperson of our Northwest Province, Comrade Nono Maloi, for the absolutely excellent arrangements that have been made by the province in the week leading up to the holding of our rally tomorrow, which he promises is going to be one of the best rallies that we will ever hold. Thank you, Comrade Nono, together with your Provincial Executive Committee. Leaders of the ANC Women's League, leaders of the ANC Youth League, and leaders of the Veterans League, and leaders of the MK Liberation War Veterans, leaders of the SACP and COSATU and SANCO, and veterans of our movement, Comrade Isitwalandwe, Comrade Ben Fitla, and distinguished guests from both overseas, from various countries, but also especially those who come to visit us and to be part of these celebrations from liberation movements around our region here. Thank you for joining us for this gala dinner. And as the TG has said, this gala dinner is being held just the night before we hold our celebratory rally to celebrate the 114th anniversary of the birth of our glorious movement, the African National Congress. Your presence here bears testimony to the enduring affection and respect that the people of our country have for our movement. Just during this week that we have spent crisscrossing the length and the breadth of this province, we have had real evidence of how our movement is being renewed and how our movement is being activized and how our movement is being rebuilt. The provincial leadership has gone to great lengths to take us to the various corners of this province, and we have seen for ourselves not only how our movement is working, but have had an opportunity to see how our people live, the challenges they face, and the opportunities we all have to improve their lives. So we are really, truly humbled by your attendance this evening. I should say, having been attending many of these gala dinners, I see them getting better and better every year. And I also see the dress code that people wear getting better and better, and really outstanding for both men and women. And it's amazing that men are now beginning to compete with women in terms of looking really, really smart. TG, I want us to take it to another level. I want us to demonstrate that our movement is not a movement of wearing T-shirts only, because during the whole week I've been wearing a black, green and gold T-shirt And in evenings like this and going forward, I'd like to wear a black tie and really look smart. And I'd like to throw that challenge that next year when you make the invitation, you must write for it. The dress code is black tie. Beautiful dresses. For the ANC is not only about T-shirts, but the ANC is also about really looking smart, because our people themselves do look smart. So we are gathering here in the Northwest as we celebrate this 114th anniversary of the ANC. This is a phenomenal moment for the African National Congress. Phenomenal because I know of no organizations, political organizations, that have existed for 114 years. The only one I know is the African National Congress, globally. And I've looked on the African continent, there's not a single organization that has existed for 114 years. And globally, I have not heard of any that has been in existence for that long. And so we are in a very special place as the African National Congress, possibly the only one that holds and occupies that space. This part, yes, that's true. We can applaud to that. So we can be very pleased that our forebears, those who formed this organization, as they look back from their graves, can see that this organization that they formed on the 8th of January in 1912 continues to exist. And it continues to progress, to make all efforts to improve the lives of our people. We're pleased to be in this province, and this is a province that has played a key role in our struggle, and this part of our country has been home to many leaders of our people's struggle against colonialism and apartheid, from warrior kings, our queens, our chiefs, and to leaders of the ANC as well as leaders of the South African Communist Party, the trade union movement, and other democratic formations. From the 1960s onwards, the area that we now know as the Northwest Province became one of the gateways through which many leaders and activists utilized to leave the country not for fun, but to leave the country to flee, but also to leave the country to go and join the armed struggle, to be trained and to come back and fight for our freedom. They left for exile in Botswana, which is our immediate neighbor, Zambia and Tanzania, and the people of this province fought a courageous struggle against the repressive regime of the Bophuthatswana Bantustan. They were renowned for their resistance to apartheid, to civic action, and to worker mobilization in that Bantustan. Since the dawn of democracy, the Northwest has occupied an increasingly important position in our country's life, but more particularly in the political life of our country, but also in the economic life of South Africa. The province, as the TG was saying, has rich mineral resources and is a major producer of grain, cattle, and other high-value crops as well, other than minerals. Northwest is an attractive tourist destination, as we had, and has a vibrant cultural industry as well. It is part of the country that has great potential for growth and development. It is our shared responsibility as government, business, and labor and communities to ensure that the Northwest Province becomes the thriving success that it can and should be. As we celebrate this important milestone in the life of the African National Congress, we are seeing signs of recovery and signs of renewal in our country. In recent months, we have seen substantial improvements in a number of areas, in production, in growth, and also in employment, which remains our biggest challenge, a challenge that we're making all initiatives to try and address. Inflation has come down, helping us to address the one key priority that we set out for ourselves with regard to reducing the living costs for our people. Our currency has strengthened and our public finances have also improved. With the improvement in our sovereign credit rating, our cost of borrowing is also coming down, and we are better positioned to invest more in infrastructure and social development. Now, the structural transformation that the ANC-led government has embarked on in the 5th administration, as well as now in the 6th administration, meaning 5 years ago, in areas that are so important in the lives of our people, in electricity, in water, telecommunications, in our logistics sector, our ports, our rail. These are reforms and transformations that are yielding visible results. There has been a massive improvement in electricity supply with a dramatic reduction in load shedding. Although, as we were going around the province, we kept hearing our people complaining about load reduction. Load reduction which is caused by a number of factors, and some of which are illegal connections, some of them are overloading, but these are problems and challenges that we are addressing. And all these progress is due to the work that is being done and has been done to improve the performance of Eskom, particularly its power stations, as well as the regulatory changes that we have made to enable substantial new investment in renewable energy. A province that is like the hotbed of renewable energy in our country, like the Northern Cape, has seen investments of more than 110 billion rand in a short space of time. And the Premier of Northern Cape will tell us that rather than seeing unemployment increasing, they're actually seeing employment increasing, which means that with investment comes increased employment, and there's a direct correlation between the two. And at the same time, we're putting in place a competitive electricity market that will lead to greater energy security and also result in the lowering of the prices for energy for our people. We're now starting to see improvements in the performance of our railways and our ports. And one mentions all these because these are major contributors to the economic growth or performance of our country. The goods that are produced, we enhance their reaching their markets through our rail as well as through our ports. Freight volumes at our ports, including on our rail, are increasing, and the turnaround times at our ports are reducing on an ongoing basis. We have also enabled access to concessioned operators, those that we concession to operate certain rail lines. We have specialized rail lines, or corridors as we call them, for many of the products that we produce. It could be iron ore, it could be coal, it could be motor vehicles, it could be agricultural products and all that. We're concessioning But one of the aims of doing so is to increase investment, to invite those who have money to invest so that our efficiencies as a country can go higher and higher. And it is through these strategic partnerships that we are developing a number of areas and arteries of our economy. Changes to our visa system has also made it easier to attract skills, investments, as well as tourists into our country. Went to one of the tourist areas here and I asked them, what is their occupancy rate? And they say their occupancy rate here in Northwest, in that area, is 80%. Now, 80% for any entity that is in the tourist industry is exceptionally good. And they said it's 80% throughout the year, and they have a number of foreigners who come to our parks, to Bilanisberg Park, and to a number of other tourist sites as the TG was inviting other people to go. So we're seeing all this by having made some changes in our visa system that enables visitors from other countries to come with greater ease. In the midst of global trade uncertainty, we are reaching out to new export markets and strengthening trade and investment relations with existing markets. The Deputy President and myself and ministers have been on many extensive trips to various countries, opening up markets. As soon as the uncertainty of tariffs started hitting us, it was incumbent on us to go and open up new markets, and we found great reception for South African products as we try also to reduce the deficit, trade deficit that we have with many other countries. Now, this is supporting efforts to grow our industry and to increase local production as well. While there is still much potential for growth in the traditional sectors like mining, like agriculture and tourism, we are also focusing attention on a number of industries of the future. Industries such as green hydrogen, which the Northwest Province has the capacity to produce in great numbers, electric vehicle production, as well as renewable energy. As a country, we have in abundance the natural resources that are needed to power the green economy of our country, and Northwest is one of those. We are seeing progress in many other areas of life. There's been a steady improvement in access to education, especially for young people from poor backgrounds. Next week on Monday, the Minister of Basic Education will be releasing the matric results, and I can tell you that we've seen great improvement in education here in Northwest as well, as will be demonstrated when the results are released. Measures, yes, you can applaud to that. Measures such as fee-free schools, feeding schemes, the expansion of funding to tertiary students, the child care grants have been vital to reducing poverty, but are also improving educational outcomes. We have seen this, yes, in recent years as the proportion of adult South Africans have matriculated in great numbers. Just last year, Statistics South Africa reported a marked decline in levels of poverty and inequality in our country. And this is true. Poverty is still stalking many of our people. Many of our people still live in real abject poverty. But at the same time, we have made efforts to reduce the levels of poverty. And of course, the objective that we have is to eliminate poverty so that we get rid of poverty. And as we do so, the inequality levels will also begin to come down. So the triple challenges we have of unemployment, of poverty, and inequality are challenges that we are targeting all our various initiatives to reduce and to eliminate. This Stats SA report found that poverty levels have declined significantly since 2006, with over 10 million people in our country lifted out of poverty over nearly 2 decades. The proportion of South Africans living below the food poverty line has fallen from 27% to 17%. Now, this is progress that we often do not talk about, but it is progress that we need to be aware of. Because the decline in poverty levels over the last decade, even amongst the low economic growth and rising unemployment, has largely been due to the pro-poor policies of the ANC government. Remembering that we spend 61% of our budget, 2 trillion rand budget, 61% goes to social projects, social welfare. And there aren't many countries in the world that I know of who dedicate up to 61% of their budget on the social welfare of their people. So progress in reducing poverty has been most pronounced amongst African and colored populations, falling by 10%, in each case in just under a decade. Among other things, this points to the success of the ANC's efforts to promote broad-based Black economic empowerment. Despite the clear progress since 2006, there are still 10 million people in our country living below the food poverty line. This is unacceptable, and is precisely what I was talking about earlier, that our initiatives and efforts are aimed at reducing precisely that. It calls for a far greater and more intensive effort to address hunger and to lift millions more South Africans out of poverty. We have seen a number of incidents of real hunger, as well as malnutrition, in a number of areas in our country, and government is embarking on a massive effort to address that. Our most powerful instrument against poverty now is inclusive growth and job creation. While we sustain our support for poor South Africans, we are determined to accelerate our economic transformation agenda. The ultimate measure in the end of progress that we are making in the economy and in the social development is the impact that it has on the lives of ordinary South Africans. That is the real litmus test. People need to feel the efforts of the economic transformation through more jobs, lower prices, and an improved living standard. They need a reliable, affordable, and uninterrupted supply of energy and water. That's what they need. The issue of water was raised repeatedly throughout the province. South Africa being a water-scarce country, water is a most valuable commodity in the lives of people. Water is life, and people need water, and it is a problem that was pointed out directly to all of us as we were crisscrossing the length and the breadth of this province. But we also got to hear stories of how a number of leaders, both at provincial, regional, and local level, are making efforts to address these problems. Of course, we've got a number of challenges with the distribution of water from big water resources, but at the same time, at the local level where our people live, it becomes a life and death type of challenge. And we heard how branch leaders, some of our branches, and I single out one branch that I was hugely impressed by, Ward 21 in Buitikong, right here in Rustenburg, how the leaders of that branch make efforts to go and explain to our people when water shortage is coming, what they will do, and make sure that they make water available to our people. And they have a fantastic young man who is part of the leadership of that branch, who is called Tabang, who impressed me greatly, and I will keep on talking about him. So we know very well, and this is our area of focus as we move ahead. Our people need well-maintained streets, working street lights, proper drainage in their roads, affordable public transport, and decent public services. We're therefore focusing even greater attention on strengthening our municipalities and investing in local infrastructure and services. So as you can hear, it's raining now. The ANC has brought rain to Northwest as well. I know that those journalists might want to have a headline. Ramaphosa lies and says the ANC brings rain. We have announced an investment of over 1 trillion rand in infrastructure over the next 3 years, and for our new roads, for ports, for energy and water systems. And an additional 54 billion rand has been allocated to fix water and electricity infrastructure in our 8 metros, alongside to changes to the management of vital infrastructure. Now, we do all this so that we can properly focus on those areas that are going to improve the lives of our people. And this is a focus that we have at national government level to fix our local government. Provinces are also expected to play a key role. In December last year, the ANC held its 5th National General Council, and the NGC, as we call it, reaffirmed the direction that we have embarked upon, while emphasizing the vital need for the ANC to undertake fundamental renewal and rebuilding. The NGC also outlined key various actions that we need to take as the ANC to accelerate the momentum of transformation in our economy and in our society. More importantly, the NGC agreed that the ANC must develop and adopt a renewal charter and a renewal rejuvenation action plan with marching orders to ANC structures and public representatives at all levels. The ANC enters this new year full of confidence and determination. And we are encouraged by the progress that has been made and by the continued support of millions of South Africans. The people of South Africa love the ANC. They embrace the ANC. They know that this is their organization. And we are well aware of the many challenges that the country faces and the conditions in which many of our people live. We know that the road ahead will be challenging and that there is still so much more that we need to do. But we also know that there is so much more that is demanded on us. And what I can say is that, yes, we are up to the task. We are prepared, we are determined to take on that task. Yet we know that as we are up to the task, it is the task of building a better life for all the people of South Africa and doing more and doing better for all our people. Now, this is the message that we will be conveying tomorrow as we hold our anniversary rally at Muruleng Stadium. At the rally, the ANC National Executive Committee will present the annual January 8th statement outlining our priorities and our tasks for the year. And we will also describe the actions that all structures of our movement must undertake to advance the struggle for a better life for all our people. So this evening we ask that you support us by making a contribution to the work of our organization. One international guest who came to our country remarked that they are surprised at hearing that there are times when the ANC has financial challenges. And they said there are so many companies and so many people who do business in South Africa. They would have expected that those people who are in business would be seeing that this is the one organization that has created these conditions in which they can do business, that has led to the improvement that we are seeing in this country. And he said, as an outsider, whether the people of South Africa like it or not, and he said he used to come to South Africa more than 30 years ago. He said, I have seen phenomenal changes in your country. And I would have expected that your business community would be lining up to support this very organization that has been transforming this country. That, for me, was a phenomenal statement coming from this international business person. And it is so. Political parties need support. They need support from their members. Our members pay membership fees. They also pay, those who are in elected positions also pay their levies. I pay my levies, and all of us who are elected in various positions pay our levies to support the work of the movement, because this organization, the ANC, is the only organization that has wall-to-wall carpet existence in the country. Wherever you go, you will never find an inch of South Africa where there is no ANC. The ANC is all over. You go to the deepest rural village, you'll find the ANC. You go to the east of the country, you go to the west, to the north, to the south, the ANC is all over. That work needs to be supported financially because it touches the lives of our people, and sometimes we make mistakes, sometimes we make errors, but we keep on moving forward. So that work needs to be supported. So we need your support. We need the support of those who can see that, yes, this is an organization that is bringing up the change. Through the support of all those who share our vision of a democratic, just, and equal society, we will be able to empower our movement to drive fundamental change and lasting transformation. So we thank you for being here, because your presence here is a contribution to the support that we need to fuel this organization to do the work that it should. So we thank everyone who has made this gala dinner possible, and to all of you who are in attendance. And as you pick up your fork and you swallow whatever piece of food you are going to be doing. We thank you because with that, you have contributed to the ANC and to the Treasurer General to continue doing the work that she does. They have been most creative. They have been most creative in even forming the PBF. The PBF is an association of business people who have themselves raised their hands and said, we want to be part of supporting this organization. So we thank you, and I want to thank TG and the people in PBF for organizing this gala dinner as beautifully as you have. This is really great. I now have to apologize because I now need to leave because we've got to finalize the statement that we are going to give tomorrow, and it requires me to pay attention to that. But the TG has already given me permission to depart. So thank you very much. Wonderful to have you here. Yes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Comrade President, and thanks for reminding us or sharing with us the progress we've made. Thanks for reminding us the work that still needs to be done. Thanks for inspiring us into this new year of 2026. We'd like to call upon the national officials and Finance Committee members to take a photo, and the board member of the PBF to take a photo with the President here.
Officials.
The officials. Deputy President, may you kindly come to the stage. National Chair, all officials. We really need this photo. The CEO, and then all provincial treasurers. Provincial treasurers, ANC Youth League treasurer, the leadership of the ANC Youth League, president, the officials there, the Women's League, Umbogoto. And as they do so, don't be shy to give them a round of applause. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Go wild again, don't be shy. The photo is incomplete without you.